Hello and welcome back to the Minetrek.net game server. This will be an update for the Exodus. I believe this will be episode 12. I have been busy and it looks like we've had a new resource pack. Yeah, I had to update my mods and stuff for joining the server today. If you have to do that, there's a link in the description below and it will take you to the home page where you can scroll down and find the required mods zip file, and it contains everything you need to get into the server. It's a pretty easy process. I myself use multi-MC as my launcher, but you can use the vanilla launcher if you can get it to work, and or other mod launchers. I think there's a couple of them out there that are easy enough to use, but for me, Multi-MC is the one that I use because I can set my Java parameters and memory with relative ease. Anyways, as I have said, I've been working pretty steadily on her, getting a lot of the needed stuff done. I'm actually into the drive hall now. I'm down below engineering. I just finished work on the preliminary deflector dish, and I thought we'd fly over here and I would give you a quick update on what's going on with the cargo bay here. I did do some modification work, so let's go ahead and pop up in here. And as you can see, I removed the door right here for this landing thing. I kind of work in my brain about how I want to set this up. So there are 4 of them, so I only have to set up 1, then I can mirror them around. But I went ahead and closed off the access point for this Jeffries tube right here. And I moved the Jeffries tube over. Let me see if I can get situated here where I can stand. There we go. And it turns out that it lines up perfectly with this upper Jeffries tube up here on deck. I think this is deck 5, maybe deck 3. Yeah, I'm not sure. But anyways, it lines up really well right here. And then I added a extension to come over here to the forward part of this deck, which meant I had to change this room here just a little bit. You know, not too bad, just a minor change there. And now I have forward Jeffries tube access. I should have done this when I originally designed the ship, but I wasn't thinking. And it's this kind of stuff when you go back through and you look at your designs that you catch, you go, oh, this is an easy fix, and you fix it. But anyways, so now this Jeffries tube ends right here. And if you want to exit, you can just go back that way and exit out onto around the ship. Now, from here, I mean, I could theoretically, have it exit again out onto this area here, but I may or may not do that. That's just food for thought. I might actually have it exit out into here, but if you go along here, it'll actually connect with another Jeffries tube. So having it exit into this room right here, which is behind the escape pods, it's not really needed. Now, I did all of this so that I could do, as I said in the last episode, extend this turbolift. What I did here is I just dropped the turbolift down, and we come out through here, kind of do a little roundabout, and come out into the cargo bay. There we go. Now, I have been trying to think of a way to, I don't know, parse up this cargo bay. I often want to call it a landing bay. Like in Star Trek Beyond, they have two hangar bays on that ship. Oh God, I watched that movie again last night, and uh, I I could do an entire episode of Minetrek just talking about all the problems in that movie, and I mean just stupid stuff wrong. Like, yeah, we detected a airlock opening on deck 13. That ship is twice the size of the Enterprise, and the Enterprise is the size of the Galaxy class. Aha! And the stupidity of hiding people in torpedoes. It's like, yeah, where are you going to hide your most valuable stuff? I'm going to hide them in a bullet. Okay. Anyways, I'm sorry. I could go on for hours about how bad that movie is. I mean, visually, it's a stunning movie. I love the visuals and I love the character interactions, and especially the Cumberbatch's portrayal of Khan. I think that guy's a brilliant actor, and he did his lines very well. But overall, there's just so much tacky about the script that I could waste an entire episode on. Anyway, so sorry about that tangent. It's foremost in my mind. Anyways, so I've been messing around with cargo capsule concepts. This is the outline of the one that's down in the main cargo bay. Behind it is a 2D cargo space. So the pod itself is like not that big. Basically, they're about the width of a human being, maybe 2 human beings in total. But I need these to be a little bit bigger. So I'm just kind of messing around with ideas for them, just to see what I might use both of them. I may not use them at all. I don't know. If I do use them, I would probably populate this area with these. I have to come up with an area where I could have the transporter, the cargo transporter, and I'm thinking it might be best to have it close to like right here-ish area because it's close to the turbolift. But then again, since the turbolifts are there, I might as well move it to the center here, and then I could do like a catwalk or something that allows you to access this forward corridor to this. I think it's ring B. I think corridor. I don't know. Anyways, but that's where I'm at with this forward cargo bay. I mean, I'm still working on it and everything else, but yeah, I went ahead and added in these cargo. Excuse me, these Turbolift access points for cargo. I made them double wide because obviously cargo is going to be a little bit bigger than this. And, standard person, I mean, you think about it, it'd probably be pallet size, and you'd want it to load it into its own specialized turbolift. But then again, I'd start thinking about that. Well, if you have to offload it on a deck, how would you offload it? Because if it's double door size to get in, and all the other doors are single size, yeah, logistics. Gotta love them. Anyways, so yeah, most of the saucer is done. There are a lot of rooms on deck 5, like technical stuff that I still have to make components for and whatnot, but I'll get that done. I'm thinking about doing an episode where all I do is I get a list of all the components I need and then just make them on recording so you can see how I do the process and everything else. But let's go ahead and actually let's go back up here to the crossover because I did some revision work through here as well. Now, beforehand, actually, let's go up, and this is main sick bay, so we'll go back right here. All right, so originally this corridor had a 3-stair stepwell steeply down onto the next deck. After, letting it just kind of sit there for a while, I decided I did not like that. In my mind, it's too much of an effort to go from the forward part of this deck where the stairwell is to use that as a stairwell to get down to the neck area. As you can see, walking along here, it's a bit of a walk. You have to go all the way to the center here, and then go forward to that corridor, then around to the back, and then you can use the stairwell. Well, that didn't make any sense to me, so I decided what I'll do is I'll explore extending those corridors down on the neck forward a little bit and see where that places me at, and then I could redo how this deck and corridor connect down to the neck. And what I ended up coming up with is just a little thing like that, and it works really well. But it does bisect this Jeffries tube right here. But that's okay. It's no big deal. This is the one in the back end of the ship. If we were to follow this forward, it basically just goes along here like so, and comes out on this lower part where this phaser bay is, or phaser bank is, and then it steps around, comes up here, and connects, if we come up through here, connects up to the rest of the ship. So all the Jeffries tubes, for the most part, are interconnected. You may have to step through a corridor and, go a few feet to get back into one, but they're all within a few feet of each other. And as you can see right here, you just step through here, and you can step up into here and go back, and then of course this leads up, and there's another Jeffries tube that leads further down, and so forth. But what I did is the corridor ended right here, and you would go up into the next deck, and I didn't like that, so I extended the corridor down. I got rid of a little battery room right here, but that's okay. I can add batteries in pretty much anywhere. I revamped these rooms because this was, one of those rooms that was kind of unassigned, and I went ahead and I'm going to turn it into a machine room for systems, and then I have to devise the system that goes in here. I want to review the blueprints to see if they can give me any idea what I can put in here, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to be on my own for coming up with ship designs, or system designs. Anyways, so I did extend the stairwell, which did come out here and go here, which is not that big of a jump because it would just kind of wrap around like so, and then you could go on aft again. But I decided, since I had the room, and it made sense. Now this is the main stairwell. This stairwell goes all the way up to the bridge. It made sense to just go ahead and extend it out to the aft section here, and then they could go down either the starboard side or the port side corridor into the neck. And then I added a couple of emergency supply rooms, or survival rooms, whatever you want to call them. And I shortened out the Jeffries tube because there's no need for it. If you come up here, you know, it kind of, if you follow it around and stuff, it does link up forward right here. See? So going all the way back forward on this would only go to that corridor anyways, and I didn't see any reason to go forward with it when I had access points right here. Yeah, that's just my logic. I'm sticking to it. Oops, found a little spot right here. I'll go ahead and fix that real quick. It's probably on the same side over here as well. Yeah, that's where the corridor used to go up. Anyways, so I revamped this and I started working on the neck section, and this is the scheme I'm going with here. Light gray because it looks white and it works well in here. I mean, it's not as bright as some of the rooms because the rooms use like white crayon or white concrete, but the light gray looks good. I mean, you get a nice feel for it. Of course, I haven't put any room details in here yet because, you know, I'll get around to it eventually. And if we step back through here, you can see that again, we have a Jeffries tube access point. We got an airlock, and then we're in the warp core section of the neck. Now this neck is a little bit wider than a standard hull for a normal movie era Enterprise. I did widen it a couple of extra blocks, and nothing too big. I mean, if we were to step out and take a look, it does look just a tad thicker, but not by much, because everything else is in proportion to the ship. And again, if you look at the Dynamap, which again, there's a link in the description below, you can click on it and you can get a pretty good view top down of what the server looks like. And you can compare the size of these ships together, and you can see that this version is much, much, much larger than the previous A versions. But anyways, this right here is, of course, the warp core, and it I don't think I can actually go up because there is glass right here, so I'll just have to cheat my way up here through here. There we go. This is the impulse bay of the ship, and as you can see, the core goes up and then it gets into that. Now there's a system up there, it's just hidden behind all that stuff up there. So if you're really curious, split the ship in half and you can see some of the detail and stuff. Now I haven't gone baller on putting in a lot of like conduits and stuff between the decks. I figure, you know, if I get around to doing that, I'll get around to doing it at some time. But right now it's not a priority for me. So I've just filled that space with black terracotta and just figured, you know, I could always hollow it out and make it easier to lay conduit anyways at some point if I decide to go that route. Like piping for, you know, fuel lines, water lines, power conduits, couplers, things like that. All that stuff can be added in, you know, because you can separate the ship out by its layers and, you know, go to town on that if you want to. But I'm not really concerned with it because it's assumed it's in there anyways. You'll never see it unless you got the ship in half, and then you'll see, oh, well, there's space for other stuff. Anyway, so if we step back through here, we can see I have a little alcove right here for reasons. There's a window there, so there's an alcove there. That's pretty much why it is. Go through another airlock, and we're into another lounge area right here. Of course, you know, you get your Turbolift right here. Looks like I haven't updated this section of the Turbolift yet. So, yeah, while we're here, let's go ahead and get that done. You know, I go through, and you will too if you do recordings and stuff, and you will always find that one spot you missed. That's why it's always good to go through and keep going through your builds constantly, because you'll always find things to change and tweak and improve. And it's a lot of fun to build your ship, then go back to it a year, 2 years later, and just do an update on it. You'll find so many things that you're going to want to change and update. It can be a lot of fun. Like I initially redid the Fearless, and then I redid the Enterprise EE, and with help from a couple of folks who did some of the work in the hangar. Thank you, Droid. And I forget who else was involved in that. I think Phobes. Those guys did a really good job on redesigning that hangar and the lower hangar as well. And we got that incorporated into the E. And then I went ahead and reworked the original Voyager. And now we've got a new Voyager on server. It's much bigger than the old Voyager. And that's probably going to be the next project I tackle. I think Waffle set up the hull, and I laid in the details, and I think there's a whole group of people working on a lot of the interior details, like the bridge and some of the other stuff. But then I went through and I revamped the layout for the bridge because it was based upon outdated designs, and we wanted to, and it was also based on the same as the previous Voyager, and we wanted to go a little different in directions on the new Voyager. So yeah. Now I don't know what they're doing on their server as far as the Voyager goes, but I do know they have one on their server, and I know it's a little bit smaller than the one we have, and I'm pretty sure the hull detail was also being done by WAF on that as well, and I hear it's, I haven't seen it, but I hear it's been it's pretty remarkable. And given Waffle's attention to detail, I bet it is. Anyways, step through here, we have ourselves a little storage area here, emergency supply locker, and then of course the stairwell that leads down the back side of the neck area, the connection between the primary and secondary hull. Now there is also, of course, this forward stairwell that I added later on. It's up here, and it also works its way down right down to the torpedo bay, because why not? I think I've covered that in previous videos, but you never know. I may not have, but I'm pretty sure I did. When we get down there, I'll talk about it again just to revamp. But anyways, this is the separation plane for the saucer and the drive hull. So if the ship has to separate, like we saw in, I think it was Star Trek, I think the last movie was Star Trek Beyond, and the other one was the one with Khan. I can't remember the second one, but that was the one I watched last night. Anyways, the third one they had, the ship gets utterly decimated by, again, I could talk hours about how bad that movie was. I mean, a dirt bike in space. Okay. But it gets decimated, and the saucer has to separate from the drive hull. And you see Uhura and come in, and she hits the specialized button because, you know, machinima, and the ship separates. And it's a really cool scene. Again, those movies cinematically, they look stunning. I love the detail of those movies. Just the story and all the technical stuff drives me nuts. Anyways, but this is what this room is. If they have to separate the ship and use emergency, they can do that. Just right here is a bulkhead that slams shut for the turbolift here. And of course, you know, I had to give it space, so there's the space for it. But yeah, if I were to separate the primary hull from the secondary hull, there's an actual whole section that you can't see, but it basically magnetic locks and whatnot down through here. At one point, I think I had it over there, but it's been revised a little bit. But yeah, it's pretty cool. This slams forward, and this whole section here seals off. It's a pretty cool thing to, you know, to see it. It's sitting there, but you know, while you're in space, you know, it's all connected. Anyway, so you'd step down through the stairwell here, and of course that airlock would seal off, and this would be it. You'd be in the drive hull, and good luck. You know, don't crash into any planets or, you know, warp core breach, because that would suck. Anyway, so we come back in here and we have ourselves another little lounge again, because windows. So lounge. And then we have a little room in here again, little alcoves, because reasons. Windows. Gotta love space windows and windows and spaceships. Yay! Then we got the warp core here, and if you look up here, you can see the separation plane for the warp core. In case, you know, atypically, if the ship has to separate, the warp core would be jettisoned first. This hatch would be sealed, then the ship would separate. That's the logic. I'm sticking with it. Okay, that's my logic. I'm sticking with it. And don't get me going the whole thing with a spaceship going into combat and staying pressurized. I mean, I'd have everybody in environmental suits, and I'd bleed the air off into tanks or whatnot. So if the ship did get hit, you wouldn't have any explosive decompressions. Everybody would be in spacesuits, and there'd be no air in the ship. You know, space combat. Anyways, nice little room right here for window. Yeah. And you step forward, you got a nice large lounge. Here's that forward stairwell I was talking about, a couple of space bathrooms. And this thing here, when I fill in this room here, this will be like a little trophy wall, you know. Yeah, we've been here, we did this. This is our mementos of the occasion. We'll go in here, you know, so this is for the crew. Yeah. Then we come down the forward stairwell here, kind of snakes its way around a little bit because, yeah, this is how I had to do it. Anyways, and then we come into another lounge. Yay, this ship has a lot of lounges in the neck because I'm a ship. If it didn't have windows, all of this would be system rooms. Just saying. Just saying. And then we step through an airlock here. Nice size airlock. I might change the floor in here and match it. There's a lot of little details. I have to match airlocks to airlocks and things like that, little detail stuff. And again, warp core. And we come back through here. Another airlock. See what I mean about matching the details of the airlocks. The floor would be changed. Then another little alcove, and of course Jeffrey's tube, because my Jeffrey's tube. Anyways, come back through here. Another large lounge area here. Looking good, looking good. And we'll step back through here. Space bathroom, just not completed. I'll get that done. Things to do on the to-do list. And then we're back into the aft stairwell, and we come on down here, and then it kind of works its way around here, and then we're looking at a long Jeffrey's tube, and then of course a storage tank for my fluids, my space fluids, because yeah, you know, again, if they want water, they could, you know, I would compress water down to hydrogen and oxygen, so you can compress the elements and then just combine them together. And if you need to take them up, separate them, you would separate them back into their components, because you cannot compress water. Just saying, you can't compress water. Anyways, I mean, you can try, but it ain't going to work for you. But if we come through with the forward Jeffries tube here, this little pump room area thing right here. Eventually, I may or may not have some machinery in here. I don't know, because again, space, it's vast. Anyways, we come forward, warp core, yay, airlock, another little lounge area here. Got ourselves another turbolift. Now, there is a forward turbolift, and then there is an aft turbolift. Another thing I decided to add because the ship is large enough to warrant having two said things. And then we are, again, at the forward stairwell. We'll work our way down to the secondary hall here, into the neck again. We are just a few decks away from the secondary hall itself proper. But again, just another little system room here with a Jeffries tube, another little, Jeffries tube ish thing going back here a little bit different than the one above us. And then we're into a system room. This is a venting system for the photon torpedoes, and we can go to the stairwell from here, or we can step down one level and be on a nice little catwalk. I have not added the ship systems for this room yet because my reasons. We'll get to it eventually. Then we have a little EVA locker, because why not? We are close to a weaponized storage room, which is torpedoes here. You might need some firefighting equipment, or, again, some atmo material, so if the atmosphere gets lost, you don't, die. And we step through here, and we are just above the torpedo launcher, and this is just a little isolated area right here. And again, leads forward to a stairwell that goes down into the torpedo launcher, and then turbo lift, and then space bathroom. Got to fill it in, haven't done that yet, and then stairwell. Now this stairwell comes down from that deck, but doesn't proceed forward. You have to actually come backwards, and this takes you down to the photon torpedo launcher. Now, as stated in previous versions of episodes, when you see Star Trek, I think it's Star Trek to the Wrath of Khan, they come through the airlock, they do their little meet and greet, and then they exit this way here. Well, it didn't make any sense that they would exit this way here, because this goes nowhere except to the torpedo launcher. So, and there's no turbolift up here. I mean, well, technically it's right there, but yeah, it didn't make any sense. So I decided to add a stairwell in right here that takes them up to that little meet and greet area up there, and that little crew area, and then they can go from there to wherever they want to go. Or they can come down and they can actually step into this little section right here, which is technically in the drive hall. You are now in the drive hall, and you can use this turbolift right here, which is most likely what they would do. They would just step down and come through here and take this turbolift. That's my logic, and I'm sticking with it. Or they could actually come back here and go aft to would-be fuel tanks, or water tanks, fluid space tanks, whatever you want to call it. And of course, you have a nice little storage, emergency storage locker, damage control stuff, because yeah, there is going to be a lot of tanks and stuff around here. And then of course, some EV suits, locations and things. And you step back here, and you've got your stairwell going down. Again, you just come forward here, and you're back to where we're at, and you can go on down. But let's go back here, take a look back here, and we'll step through this Jeffries tube right here and down. We have a tank right here. This is an H2o tank, but it can be any, literally can be anything could be stored here. Then we step up, same thing on that side, and then we come back here. We have pumps right here. These are all the pumps and stuff, and we are actually standing next to another tank and on top of another tank. And these come all the way back. Oh, these are the venting systems, excuse me. If we actually step outside the ship here real quick, we'll see that these are the vent systems right here. These vent whatever's in those tanks, or whatever they want to vent, they can vent into space from here. Let's go ahead and drop down here. I want to fix that real quick. And then we'll spin over here and do it on the other side. But if we pass through here, you can see another tank right there. And I think I already got this one. Yeah, I'll leave it the way it is. Little details like that don't bother me. But anyway, so yeah, another tank right here. And this can be filled with, again, whatever. And there's the inlets and outlets for it. And if we jump up on here, step through, you can see we're back where we're at. And what we'll do is we'll come up here and we'll go down this ladder right here. Now we're into a nice little Jeffries tube system. And there's the stairwell coming down, the two-part coming down. You can come down, and you are technically on the engineering deck. This is where main engineering, well, it's the top of main engineering anyways. It's part there are 2 decks for main engineering. This is the upper deck of main engineering. You got a turbolift that, Jeffries tube that comes back here and then goes into this large storage bay for photon torpedoes. And because the ship has to have a lot of photon torpedoes, if you've ever watched Voyager, you don't want to run out. You have a little, office area here, and same thing on that side. But if we come back through here and take this Jeffries tube all the way back, you will see at some point when we get back here, there's some relevant material back here. Wow, what's this over here? Well, we have a Jeffries tube that goes down into engineering. And on this side of the wall, there is a power conduit leading up to the nacelles. This actually leads us to the nacelles. Damage control, EVA locker room, and this takes you all the way up to the nacelles. Now again, I may redesign this room here, but it's reinforced. That's why it looks like this. This is just reinforced. And on the other side of that, where the pylon comes down, is all tank. It's just a big storage tank. I figure that would be where they would store fuel. Because they could collect it with a Bazard collector and turn it into fuel. That's why not store it there? I mean, they do it on airplanes. That's why they store fuel on airplanes. And in the event that they go into combat and need to purge that fuel, well, guess what? It's tied into the vent system, and they can vent it out. So yeah, it's all conveniently located. And if we want, and we come forward here, this takes us up to this section here. This is the back section of these vents, as you can see. I haven't filled in this area right here. I don't know what I'm going to put right there. I may not put anything. I might just close this off. I don't know yet. But it's there. I have to figure out what I'm going to do with it. It might just be machinery that ties in with this stuff. That's probably what it is. But actually it does tie in because these go up and they connect to the pumps up there. But if we step back through here and come this way, I think we can go... Yes, we can go down. Let's go ahead and go down one deck. And I think we'll still be in a Jeffries tube. Yes, we are. And if we come back this way here... We are on the main deck proper here. And all of above us right now is a tank. Let's go ahead and move up there because I thought I had access. I did have access to it right here. I was looking for these doors and I could not find them. But anyways, as you can see, this is a massive tank. And this leads up to the pylons, the wall pylon, the wings, if you would call them, on the port side, and then, on the starboard side, and this is the port side. And there's a pump system. It's all tied in. And then, oh yeah, okay. I know where this door is now. Duh. It's right here. All this pumping system. We were technically right there. Anyway, so yeah, all this pump stuff is interlinked. So from the pylons to the big tank to the smaller tanks, it's all interlinked. And theoretically, it's linked into the neck and then up to the 2 fuel tanks and stuff up there below, or behind the impulse engines. But yeah, let's go ahead and go forward here because we don't need to go aft until later. And we'll walk our way forward, and I'll show you some of the work I've gotten done on these 2 decks here. Anyways, Jeffries tube, we've seen that, a little office. If we walk back this way here, we just got a bunch of engineering rooms. Again, none of them are really filled in yet. I have to figure out where I want to put the machine shop and the fabricators. It just depends on where I have the height to include the machines. Again, Turbolift. And then we have another little area right here, another one right here. These can all be filled with machines at some point. This right here will most definitely be machines. It'll probably be related to cooling. But if we open the door, we can see that this is the power conduit coming from the main warp core, leading all the way up to the nacelles. Let's see if we can get out of here. Yeah, we can. Okay, let's go ahead and go forward here, and we'll work our way forward and go to the right. And we'll work our way forward. Again, another large room. I'm thinking one of these rooms will probably be fabrication or machine shop and whatnot. Here's the Jeffries tube again. Oh, actually, this is a Turbolift. Excuse me. My bad. My bad. This is Turbolift Repair. I put it here because I think I forgot to account for where it is down the hall further. If it is down there, there'll be 2 of them. Or I'll just repurpose the room downstairs for something else. Then we have, of course, the stairwell gangway, and then another little workroom or office. This one does not have a space toilet because my reasons. We work our way around this way here. Now this gets into the motion picture where you see Kirk walking along the corridor, and he steps in and he looks down and sees Scotty, and then he walks over and takes a lift down. None of that lines up. Again, that's a Hollywood set piece, and where they shoot him doing stuff is not going to line up with any actual spatial location in, say, an actual environment like this. They shot a movie. and sometimes they have to shoot the movie in different locations and then sort of edit the footage together to make it look like it's all continuous. So, yeah, just keep that in mind. You know, it's a movie. Things are going to be different. We have a little office right here with a space toilet. And again, does it have? Yes, it does. Yay, this one actually can be used. Then we have our Turbolift here. And if we go ahead and take the Turbolift down one deck and exit out. Ooh, what's this? Okay, that's got a bit fixed. See, we're learning stuff every day. Okay, so I wonder how that got sealed in. That should not have gotten sealed in like that. Oh well, it happens, you know. Must spaceship. Got a little area up in here. Now I haven't filled this in yet. I eventually will either fill this in with terracotta or something else. Right now I'm leaving it open because if I do decide to do stuff, I want to be able to have access to it back in here. I thought about putting batteries and components like that in here. That's one of the reasons it's open. I could just lift, you know, those little 4-size, you know, put a couple blocks in here. This is a base battery. And populate this whole area with it. But then I could use rugs to cover up this flooring and stuff. You know, just one of those things. Get rid of that and put that there. I'm going to leave that hatch there to kind of remind me that I got to do some work up there. But anyways, if we come forward here, we have the upper, I guess we'd call it RCS Control Room. I can close this room off and make it something else because I have a lot of space down there. But I just kind of left it open so that I could see the RCS thruster because I know I'm going to have to put an RCS thruster in there. And then, you know, I can have this room be its own room again, or I can do whatever down there. It's really up to me. And that's the this is the port thruster. And if we go forward, of course, main engineering. Yay, space engine. Make us go very fast. And of course, we can step down into here. Because if you watch the motion picture, you'll see a bunch of people just going to the wall right here. Just watch the motion picture. You'll see what I'm talking about. So I decided to have a space where they actually have to come down and they can go someplace like into a Jeffries tube. Or they can come forward into the lower engine bay. Or they can come in here and this would be operations and this would be the operations drive hall battle bridge. Now, when you're talking about operations and stuff, theoretically speaking, and I don't know for sure, but this is the way I would set it up. This room would take control of the ship if the primary auxiliary control room loses power. And that room would take control of the ship if the bridge loses power. So if the bridge gets damaged, all function and power automatically transfers to the battle bridge on the saucer. And if that room gets destroyed, this room takes over. So this is, you know, auxiliary control. That's my logic, and I'm sticking to it because to me that makes the most sense about everything. It's just you would have redundant systems that were constantly trying to take control. Hey, give me control. No, I'm still here. Oh, I died. You now have control. That kind of a thing. It would just be redundant. It would just happen. So yeah, that's what this is down here. This is, you know, auxiliary control, battle bridge, operations. I might change this auxiliary control, drive hall, battle bridge, and this would be operations. This would be, you know, related to other aspects of the ship, including combat efficiency, whatnot. So yeah, and then we have a couple of big rooms in here. Again, they will eventually be filled with machines. Actually, down here would be a good spot for the machine shop or the fabricators, because I think I can. Maybe I can't. 3. Yeah, I possibly could. I don't know. I could put a bigger door in there. I don't know. Too wide. We've come through here. Then we, of course, we have again survival locker, damage control locker, whatever you want to call it. Then we have our escape pods, our turbolift, and more escape pods through here. Another big room. This is a nice size room. That could easily be set up as a manufacturing room. Little office right here. Again, no space bathroom. So, yeah, I don't know. I could always retrofit one in there if I need to. Then we have survival lockers. Another nice turbolift. And then another big room. And then, of course, we have an EVA locker right here because, or damage control room, or, you know, whatever you want to use this room for. Mainly, if they lose atmosphere, they got to be able to get spacesuits and fight fires. And, you know, best way to fight a fire, get rid of all the air. Just saying. Anyways, then we have this big room here, and that does have a little alcove over there that could be used as a space bathroom, but yeah, just really depends. And then we have a nice little room here, office with a space bathroom, which is convenient. I guess that would be the quartermaster's office or something. Big space bathroom right there, and stairwell. And then, of course, if we go this way here, there may be some rooms in through here that are not completed. If we step down in here, we have hangar control on the starboard. That's the port side, and here's the starboard side. There we go. Yeah, just imagine if all these shuttles had, 3G in them. They'd be obsolete in a couple of months because guess what? They're turning off the 3G network. So everybody that bought a new car, yeah, you're going to lose some functionality there. And I guess Toyota isn't going to update their older cars. Makes me wonder what GM's going to do with their OnStar systems for their older cars as well, because I have one of those. Speaking of which, don't trust the Cadillac dealership to repair your car. Those guys will rip you off. Imagine if you owned a spaceship and you took it into the spaceship repair yard and there's something wrong with your acceleration. You couldn't figure out what it was, and they know exactly what it was, and they're like, oh, it's going to cost you $23 million to fix the problem. You're like, oh, geez, I can't afford that. And then on the way out, you just kind of go, I wonder if there's something under the pedal that might be inhibiting the pedal. Sure enough, there's a block of wood under the pedal. Somebody, when you took it in for servicing, slipped a little piece of wood behind the gas pedal and prevents the gas pedal from going all the way down, thus limiting your gas pedal. Yeah, making you have to bring it back to the dealership to solve the problem. Yeah. Anywho, don't trust dealerships to do repair work. Always get a second opinion or just investigate it yourself, because when I found that, I tell you, I was very pissed. Yeah, said a dirty word, but I was mad as hell. Anywho, back to the Jeffries tubes here. We have the Jeffries tube coming down. Again, it goes all the way up there. So again, they're all interconnected. They're looking really good. And if we go this way here, again, it's pretty much the same as before. This goes back and then this sort of connects with back there. It goes, actually, we should go back here because it does go to the Aft Control Room, which again hasn't actually been filled in yet. This area here, not really sure what to put in here. Probably be related to atmospherics, related to the hangar bay itself here. That's probably going to be an atmospheric control room right there. But yeah, as you see, really cool. Yeah. And if we go back up to the previous deck here we go. This room has not been filled in yet, but this will be a phaser room, and then these will be auxiliary systems, probably shields related to the phasers and whatnot. Same thing on this side here. But this is the those windows you see in the back of the ship when ships are approaching. I guess it's flight control-ish or something. I don't know, because they've got a lot of rooms on the ship, but that sounds pretty reasonable. That'd be flight control. Let's go ahead and zip back on in here. All this magenta that you see through here and whatnot, this is all set up for the door. This will all be filled in. All these vacant spots and stuff, and all the magenta will be replaced with black terracotta. It'll just be a bulk replace, so it'll all won't be any magenta. Although, I love magenta. Love my magenta. Anyway, so yeah, here we are up here, and if we go ahead and exit here and work our way forward. Now, this section through here was done a while back. I did this several months back, and but I didn't finish the whole deck. Now this deck is, well, mostly finished. I mean, this room isn't filled in yet. This is where I stopped working last night and moved on to the deflector dish because I knew I was down there, I had to get it done. So some of these rooms aren't completed. They're still pretty empty, as we've seen. But this is the security section. I'm still in the process of setting it up. Drive hall security, and then of course we go around the corner here and walk this way. We will be into sick bay. Again, I'm still working on setting up some of this area here, so the OR hasn't been laid in yet. And there may I may make some other changes through here. I don't know yet. But yeah, this is the drive hall sick bay. Again, there's the stairwell going up. It's mirrored on the other side. A couple of rooms. Still, they haven't have a roof in them yet because I'm still working down here. We go forward here. We will be in the shield room. So this is one of the shields. This is a very large shield. It could also be a gravitic, anti-mass device, gravity generator, that sort of a thing. Because, yeah, you want to lighten the load a little bit, or else the ship, structural integrity field, that kind of a thing. And, of course, turbolifts, and they go down, and they also go up. Yay, yeah. Yeah, keep your minds out of the gutters, folks. Come on. Come on. Come on, man. What was I talking about? Come on. It was large rooms here for other ship systems. Of course, Jeffrey's tubes, because why not? Space bathroom. Yay! And then we go, or as people like to say, smoking area. Then we come up here, and we are back into main engineering with a, yeah, that there. And yeah, this is just, you come in here, and pretty much you can either go down, you can go up, or you can go out this door right here. If we go to the port side here and work our way forward, we'll see that another little room here. This will probably be, I don't know, oops. Found another little boo-boo. Yay, just finding boo-boos all day today. Okay, I'll bet you anything if I come back this way here, this room over here will be, it is. Okay. Things happen. But this is why we go through our stuff and check things, because, yeah, we don't, mistakes happen. You know, so we go forward here again. That room lines up, so we'll be okay. And then we have this big room right here. And then we have this room right here. And if we go ahead and take this Turbolift, it just goes up. That's all it does. Doesn't do anything else. Okay, let's make sure of that before I do anything else. Okay, yep, looks like this is as far as this Turbolift goes. So what we'll do is we'll go out and we will find a stairwell and go down. Yeah, that's what we'll do. Because I know there's stairwells around here someplace. Right here. And we will go down one large deck. And yeah, this is about pretty much where I've gotten so far in this deck. But if we come through here and we come through here and we come in here and we walk around here, okay, that's a bust. We'll go down one more, and okay, we'll go down one more. There we go. I knew it would eventually get down here far enough. Then we are to the main deflector. So, yep, this is the main deflector. And, oops. Yeah. And, sorry, I know it's fast. It can make some people sick, this moving around, this jerky motion and stuff. I apologize, but the game runs better on the 10850. If you note, it's up on the right hand side. I have a 3060 Ti on this, and yeah, this is just my 10850 system, the Intel system, and the game seems to run better. It looks better on this system than it does on my Ryzen 5900X, which whoops, I bumped my microphone there, which is a good system, but the color's off, and I haven't been able to get the color balanced on the monitors for that system. So red looks orange, and orange looks really orange, and it drives me nuts. So when I'm here and stuff and I see things and I jerk around, I'm not used to the mouse sensitivity on this system as so much as I am on the other system. The other system, I have it refined more because I've used it more. But this 10850 system, 10850K, is I really like it. I've got to admit, I should have just stuck with this instead of going ahead and building the 5900X, but actually I built the 5900X first, so yeah. Anyways, if we pop on through here, another tangent there, you'll see that the deflector dish is fully built out. So yeah, just little details like that, just fun stuff that you can go inside, and well, technically you can't go inside because it's full of stuff. Yeah, it's all full of stuff. But yeah, if you cut it in half, well, this isn't full, it's full of magenta, but it's mainly yeah, whatever that is. Lateral sensors, transwarp drive inhibitor. I have no idea. It just looked cool, so I made a couple of pods to come off of it. And of course, this feeds back into the warp core itself. So this, when they say, let's power the deflector, they mean it. They can put some juice out that baby right there and move some space stuff out of the way. But yeah, that's pretty much it so far. So far, so good. Anyways, I do appreciate you taking time to watch. If you've managed to watch me this long, go ahead and hit that like button for me. I don't know. I guess, according to the algorithm, it does something. I don't know. Just YouTube. But yeah, overall, she's come together. I'm pretty pleased with it thus far. With any luck, if I stay motivated, I can probably have the rest of the ship done by the end of January, God willing, and everything else. I'd also like to say thank you again to MHeller for hosting the Minetrek.net game server and for all that she has done for the last decade. And to everybody else, thank you for watching and have a great day. God bless. And I will catch you on the flip side.